Broadcasting from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, to around the globe. You're listening to Shark Bite Biz, your exclusive place for business strategy, sales, marketing, and tech in the roaring 20s. And now, here's your host, David Strausser.
You just arrived to the newest episode of Shark Bite Biz. I'm your glamorous host, David Strausser, and this is your place to learn how to grow a business during complete global chaos. Another episode and another conversation about SEO. First, though, remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can join the channel. For only $3 a month, you can become a baby shark. But if giving money through big tech isn't your thing, don't worry. We got you covered. Head on over to deadhousecoffee.com, okay? Now, you're going to use code SHARK. You're going to get 20% off of your order. But what we're going to give you some of the freshest coffee on the planet. I'm telling you, once you order this coffee, it is roasted, peeled, and shipped within a 24-hour period. Plus, did I mention it's zombie themed? Can't get better than that. Remember, use code SHARK. You get 20% off. deadhousecoffee.com. All the proceeds, whether you're being a baby shark for $3 a month on YouTube or you're getting coffee at deadhousecoffee.com, all of those proceeds directly help us becoming the biggest, the best, the absolute most beautifulest business podcast out there on planet Earth. Now, let's get back to today's show. You know, I've got a fun Russian coming onto the show today, and I've got to specify that with fun Russian because, you know, Russia, you know where I'm coming from if you've even had an inkling of American news, media, politics over the last 4, 5, 6 years. It's just been negative about Russia. Well, we're going to change that today. We got a fun Russian coming on the show who just happens to have an amazing career and extremely knowledgeable. He's been working hand to hand very deep with many of Asia's largest tech firms over the past decade. And right now, specializes in SEO. Overall, it's just a fun interview. I personally, you all know this, I love following the career of somebody, kind of getting to know them, and then hearing how that expertise kind of leads up to what they do today. And we're going to get some solid SEO tips today. So, who is today's guest? None other than Alex Zuev. Originally from Siberia, Russia, Alex built his first website in 2000. Since then, he's helped others develop their SEO and digital marketing strategies around the world. Alex escaped from the Siberian cold in 2013 and had a chance to work and live in China for Alibaba, in the US, and now in Vietnam, where he leads the SEO team at ArdorSEO to help predictably grow their clients' business. So, hey, I'm going to shut up. Let's bring our buddy Alex, our friendly Russian friend, Alex. Let's bring him right on in here.
Reach your customer.
Alex, welcome to Shark Bite Biz. You, my friend, you just became Shark Bait.
Hey, David. Thanks for having me on your podcast. I'm really happy to be here, and I hope I can share something interesting with your audience.
Oh, trust me, I definitely think you will. First, very first question, we ask every single person this. It's a tradition on the show. What is your experience? What's your background? Where have you been? I mean, I'm looking over your bio here. I see Southeast Asia, Vietnam, I see Russia, I see China, I see Alibaba, New York, United States. I see a lot. Come on, why don't you tell us in a nutshell, what makes Alex?
Well, it's a complicated question. Actually, I think it's experience for sure. It's my It's the opportunity I got to not just live all my life in one place, but travel around the world and see other places and meet really interesting people. And well, I was happy to travel around. I visited more than probably 25 countries for the last 5 years. And I lived in 4 countries except Russia, where I was born. Actually, I was born in Hungary, but I don't remember that. So anyway, probably my experience, my day, and my people around me, my environment, and my wife, of course.
Yeah, that's great. So you're working for Ardor SEO, and Ardor SEO. They're no stranger to the show. We've had Chris Reed, who is, I guess he's co-founder, or he's the founder and president, right? Yep. Yeah. He's the founder. He's been on the show previously, I think, back in the end of maybe season 1 or early season 2. I forget. It's starting to become a blur. We've done so many episodes now. But how did you find yourself working for Ardor SEO?
I always answer like that. So I worked in really big companies like Alibaba, with probably, I don't know, only in our department, it was around 10,000 people in our part in Guangzhou, where I work. And
but 10,000 people at Alibaba? No,
it's just
never would have guessed.
Just for one,
right. That's branch. Crazy.
Yeah, and they don't think it's a big company. They think like 100, 200 people it's just a startup. Yeah, as I said, like I work in big companies. I always I love working in small companies because I have more opportunities. I have more responsibilities.
Less bureaucracy.
And I think, yeah, exactly. And like, in China, I spent like 3 to 6 months to get access to the development team to ask them to improve something, because we work on the software. So I try to improve that and try to push them to do it faster. But
was it hard?
Because bureaucracy is huge. Like you.
But was it? Culturally speaking, though, okay, I've got to ask this question. Was it hard trying to push some of that stuff, though, through because of the fact that you're Russian/Hungarian, you weren't Chinese? I mean, I've heard a lot of, I've worked for a Korean/Japanese company in the past, and there was, because of the fact that you weren't Korean, you weren't Japanese, you weren't like, and I'm not talking about being Korean or Japanese in the US. Like, they all treated me extremely well in the US. But when I called the Korean home office, or I called the Japanese home office, it was like, you're not on that same level as my counterparts in the office. You were treated like subculture. And my understanding is that over in China, there is a lot of that subculture if you're not Chinese specifically. Did that make it harder for you working for a company at Alibaba?
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the biggest problem.
So you would say that it is true. It's not just a rumor, that there is some truth to that. True. Okay.
It was really difficult to go through to become a manager. It's almost impossible.
Being non-Chinese in a place like Alibaba. I thought I just had to kind of ask that. And you have that cultural difference going against you, as well as you also have the bureaucracy. I mean, your department alone, you said, was 10,000 people, So trying to get something done, like you're saying, it takes 3 to 6 months. And there's just a point you get tired of it. And it looks like you found yourself eventually in Vietnam right now. And
that's been a long journey. Actually, I worked for Alibaba for almost 3 years, and we changed a lot. I just moved to another department, and nobody probably, I don't know, mentoring or guiding this department. We were kind of startup inside the big company, so we have a lot of responsibilities by ourselves. We can do a lot of by ourselves. So
that's cool.
Actually, after China, I moved to the Philippines for a while just to take some rest because it's crazy. We have officially, not in Alibaba, but in a different country, in another company, we had officially 12 hours working day, 6 days per week. So it's like from Monday to Saturday, including.
What's the name of that policy for China?
I don't know the name of the policy.
Because you're talking about specifically in China, where you would work 6 days a week, like 12 hours a day.
I'm talking about specific companies. They have this rule because they were thinking they are a startup, so they can do that. Okay. And even then, after you work like for 12 hours, you know the KPI part of your KPI will be like how your managers think about you, and if you're trying hard. But trying hard in terms of managers' eyes looks like if you're not staying later, then you're not trying hard. So you have to work 12 hours plus you have to stay later. And then you're working hard. And then that's why a lot of people just saying company has an apartment, rented apartment near the office. So everyone who late can go and sleep there and then come back to work. So
that is crazy. And what country again, just to make sure I'm following you, was that in China again, or is that in
China?
So that's China. Why you went to the Philippines to kind of get a break. And did you find any relief in the Philippines? I mean, was it different?
I did. It was really exciting, but I understand that I can't stay in this environment for a long time because I'm not growing. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not learning anything, and I decided to move to the US, where I stayed for almost a year, doing SEO.
Is that when you went to New York?
After that, we came back to Russia, and then we came back to Vietnam, to Saigon.
Oh wow! So you ended up kind of going full circle there, but the whole time though, I mean, you've been pretty much working in tech for companies, essentially, it seems, around the globe.
Yeah. Well, I started. My major is in IT, so I built my first website in 2000. So maybe 1999, and since then,
HTML and JavaScript. What else
exactly? No JavaScript those days, just HTML.
Oh. No, I see. That's the thing. I remember. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I have my time frames mixed up. But I remember. In late 90s, I would have what was called the web TV. And what we would have to do would be a lot of stuff that was off of HTML, but also JavaScript too. Maybe it was because I was on a web TV environment. We were using JavaScript at that time. There was a lot of crazy like hacks you could do, for example, because of how this was. Do you know what web TV was?
Not really. No, we didn't.
Okay, so computers were super expensive back then. So a really smart company was like, hey, let's make think of like a video game console that would look like, maybe they're not even that. Like, think of the box that you would have for your TV. It would be, there's a couple different versions. It could be this big, this thick, like this wide, okay, like a box like that. Or there was a pro version eventually that was this big, okay? And what it was basically a standalone computer that you really couldn't do anything on except browse the web and do emails. But for people back then to be able like, hey, I can't afford $2,000 for a computer. You know, oh my God, paying American Online for internet access was crazy expensive. So that was something where it was like, okay, well, you pay $200 or $300 for a web TV, and you're not getting a computer, but you're getting a box that has a browser built in. And then, you know, from there, you're able to view most websites and write emails. And it was it was pretty amazing. I mean, I would like to say that was probably my first computer, and because of the fact that it was so limited, it's what got me into tech, because doing things that would be straightforward on a computer, you couldn't do on web TV. So you'd have to find workarounds or do this or do that. And then, you could find security vulnerabilities. Like, for example, I sent an email to one of my buddies, God bless his soul, he's not with us anymore. But when I sent him the email, he didn't even have to open it. All he did was highlight the message, okay? And bam, it changed his password. It changed the name on his account. It changed the billing credit card info. And then it powered off his unit. So then when he goes to turn it back on, okay, he can't log in because it changed the password. Okay, no problem. He's got to call Web TV. He calls Web TV. He's trying to be like, hey, I opened up this email and basically it reset my password. I need you to reset my password. And they're like, okay, no problem. Can you confirm the name on the account? And he's given his name, and no, it wasn't his name. It was under David Strausser. And then he's like, BS. Tell me then how David Strausser pays, because this is my credit card that you're paying for. And I did that, and you were able to do that just through email. Like, it was insane. It gave me my experience into the tech world. And that's how I learned everything, because I don't know, it's always been harder for me because I never had a full computer, but it actually worked out because it taught me a lot of stuff that was really laid the foundation for my technological life. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, I can imagine. We didn't have that, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. I don't know if you remember, but in 1993, when I got my first computer, it has a cassette like speaker, so you have to load your computer using some screaming noise there, and just loading MS-DOS or I don't know, Norton Commander, and no memory, no RAM or HDD there, so you have to switch diskettes, like 5-inch diskettes. Oh, happy days!
Wow. Yeah. So let's jump into ArdorSEO. I mean, we've really established your personal identity, your trip around the world, all the various tech experiences you've had. I mean, obviously, I think anybody out there watching or listening to this show knows what you're talking about. So what do you do for ArdorSEO? It says that you're the SEO director, okay? Now,
that's correct.
SEO director means, search engine optimization. I've got to ask you, because I've had 50 people on this show, and if you ask each person, what does SEO mean to you? Each person is going to tell you another answer. What do you think? What is SEO to you?
First of all, we probably need to explain, if somebody doesn't know, that SEO is search engine optimization, and is what we do for Google to like our website. Is in 2 words, but for us in Ardor, this is the system, and we have the system that help us to get our messages or get our client messages in front of their ideal customers to predictable grow their business. So it's what we do is some kind of process that we do over and over again, and our clients grow every day.
They grow every day, every single day, 7 days a week.
Well, of course,
yeah, I know.
I'm not speaking literally.
No, I just had to poke fun at that because of how you said it. But I mean, with organic SEO would be where you're trying to get organically #1 listing on Google.
It does for sure. But at the same time, when he stopped doing that, he will not get any clients anymore, right? So that's why we prefer SEO, because it's a long-term strategy. And when you get there, you just spend much less than in the beginning and much less than you pay for PPC campaign to be on the same level.
Right. So basically, I mean, I guess one of the problems that SEO is meant to solve is to be able to help you get customers to grow your business at a fraction of the cost over time than what it would cost by doing something like pay-per-click advertising. Is that accurate?
Definitely. So they can pay
Because there is to be clear, there is that initial investment. It's like, hey, this isn't going to happen for free. You are going to have to spend money, time, energy, whatever it may be in your situation to get it set up, to get it configured, to maintain it. But over time, that cost should go down. Whereas pay-per-click is either going to stay flat, it's always going to cost you money, or it's going to increase if it gets more competitive. Is that accurate?
That's true.
Why don't you explain to us kind of how those two compare?
Well, first of all, as you explained, you just if you pay, like, let's imagine if you pay $5,000 every month, and then over the year you will spend $50,000. You can invest this time and money into SEO, and then over a year you will get probably as the same results, maybe even more. And then you can stop investing this amount. You can decrease it. You can keep on the same level and continue growing, but you will not do the same as you did before because you already achieved, like, say, first page of Google. You will get you will get in clients for a long time. And I know a lot of websites who stay on the same page or on the first page for years, and they don't pay anything. So
yeah, I was on the first page for many years of Google for David Strausser. I owned it, and it's mostly because I own davidstrausser.com. I've been on the web since the 90s, like we said. And then all of a sudden I started getting pushed to second, third page. And it's because Google decided, no, there's a Dr. David Strausser. He's worth more than you. And they started giving him more organic SEO. You know what Dr. David Strausser didn't do?
Nope.
Dr. David Strausser didn't buy drdavidstrausser.com. I have drdavidstrausser.com now. And I also, so I've had to one up him and get very creative on how do I take my organic SEO back so that when you search for David Strausser, I'm the one that you find. Now, I've also have done things. I mean, I write for Forbes, I do a podcast. So over time now, all these things and being associated with a lot of, good, solid business names, I think I have finally overtaken him, unless you specifically search for Dr. David Strausser. But one day I might be a doctor. Who knows? I mean, I might go for a doctorate in business, right?
And it's not just about as you said, it's not just about the traffic. It's not just about conversion. It's also about branding. Since you have a known brand, everybody knows you, and you probably don't need the website anymore.
Yeah. No, I do definitely need the website, but I mean, traffic is down. The website itself, it's not like I get a 1,000 or a couple thousand views a month. I mean, I would say 1,000 views is probably a good month, but I do something very niche. I help small businesses, and I'm only going to reach a certain amount of people with what I do. So one of the questions I want to ask you, I really want to lean into your expertise, Alex, is about, what about keeping up to date? Like, as far as what are some of the more effective SEO techniques out there? How can customers really optimize their SEO to make sure that it still works in 2021?
That's a tricky question. It's not just, It's not just one thing that you can do and you will get number one on Google. There are so many people that work on their website and then they are trying to achieve this page every day and trying over and over, buying 100,000 of links. So it's a number, maybe a lot of processes, a lot of techniques that you can use. Definitely one of the biggest one in 2021, I would say, is still backlinks, but also Google started paying attention more and more, and they had a really recent update about Web Vitals. So it's really important to have your website fast and perform.
And mobile first has become very important as well too, because I mean, mobile first isn't going to necessarily help you with your SEO per se, okay? But it's going to help you with the Google algorithm, because especially if people are on a mobile device, it's going to boost you in those search results, correct?
Yeah, the problem is that people who work in SEO area, or even just have a website, they don't care about mobile version, but Google changed mobile first long time ago. And you need to pay attention on the mobile and just focus on that first and then everything else. Not everyone still do that. And well, I work on different search engines like Google and Yandex, for example, one of the biggest search engine in Russia. And I work in Baidu, for example, in China, the biggest search engine there.
Yep.
And there's still, for example, Yandex, for a long time, it was a desktop first. And probably now I didn't do it for a long time for Yandex, but still you can get used to it, and the old techniques doesn't work. So you have to update your knowledge over and over. You have to keep your knowledge up to date, and read a lot of books, watch a lot of videos, and talk to other experts in your niche.
Right. No, totally. 100% totally agree, because really education and figuring out how it works. I mean, the thing is that Google, even if it's Facebook with their algorithm on what people see on their timelines, I mean, it's constantly being tweaked. And that's another question I've been wanting to ask an SEO expert. As far as, I mean, everybody's always talking SEO. Okay, Google. But shouldn't SEO in 2021 also cover your organic presence on a place like Facebook, as far as when you post on Facebook, making sure that your potential customers are going to see what you say, because they only give it out to a fraction of the people that actually like your content. So based upon that, I mean, shouldn't that be included in the general SEO conversation as a whole?
Right now, Google pays attention a lot on the authority of the website and authority of the person who are behind that website, if that's a personal blog or something else. So probably a few years ago, they implemented an algorithm or did an update where you need to prove that you have the right to speak about some kind of topic. That's probably why if you check something about medical, some kind of drugs, or I don't know, something related to that, then you will find mostly high authority websites. So talking about that, about your question, I think nowadays, like 2021, you should be everywhere. If you want to cover the authority, if you want to be a brand, you need to tell Google as well, because Google is the biggest search engine system, right? So you need to prove that you have rights, and a lot of people follow you. You have some, I don't know, diplomas, certificates, whatever. So, and I don't imagine SEO without other sources, without Facebook, without LinkedIn, without anything, because it's also backlinks. It's also in terms
Backlinks,
of SEO, it's still
validations.
backlinks. Exactly, authority.
Why don't you explain to some of our guests out there, like what exactly is a backlink, okay? And why are backlinks important?
Backlink is the link on the website, on the third-party website. Let's say you talk to me and now you're gonna give me a backlink on your website. You will post something that's related to my website, and you can add the link. Oh, if you have any questions, you can ask Alex about that, and you will put my website link there. This will be the backlink. I will get benefit from it. I will get link juice from your website. I will get probably clicks from your website, and Google will understand that I have authority in this area. I have expertise, and it will start ranking me higher.
Okay. So if like, I guess at ArdorSEO, you guys do have a system though in place. How important is having a system, a system for success for your client, something that is a repeatable solution that, you know, can not guarantee success, but give you high probability of success?
Well, I can say that when we we have a lot of experts in our company who work for a long time in SEO, who has 10 plus, I don't know, 15 plus years of experience. And when you have this, with so many years of experience, you saw so many websites, you know what exactly can help this exact website to grow. What can you do to help them succeed, to do for them so they can grow? And usually we build this kind of strategy for every client at the beginning when we start working with them, to explain them where their easy wins or where the opportunities that they probably didn't see. And we are, according to our experience, using our experience, we can show them. And
your experience for opportunities that they probably didn't see. I mean, that's important. That's critical. I mean, that is, I think, something of value that goes overlooked, to where, I mean, when you hire a company like Ardor or any type of marketing agency or a marketing person, I mean, you're looking for somebody that can bring that experience to the table, stuff that you're overlooking, because oftentimes many companies have value, that is, I guess you could say, it's hidden value that's there that they could be taken advantage of, that they're not taking advantage of. And they need an expert like you, for example, to kind of bring that to light.
Most of the companies, they're not experts. And we always prefer let the company do their own business. We always say them, you can do your business. Let us do what we're the best. We can do the best, and they will grow their own business. We'll help them to get traffic. We'll help them to get conversions. That's what we do. And when you work with so many clients, when you work with so many different niches, you know what works in this way or another. It doesn't matter, like if you promote the dog products or you work on real estate website.
Right. So I guess last question, what would you say is the top thing that every website needs? What's a top thing that they're missing and may not even realize it.
Well, personally, I'm an IT geek, so I spend hours and hours developing something. So from my perspective, I would probably say that nobody cares about technical part, but it's not going to be right, because it's just one side of the coin. So usually, most of businesses, they cannot explain what they offer to their clients. They can't create the clear explanation there. Usually, one of the great books of really good marketer, Donald Miller, is called Story Brand, or Marketing Made Simple, the second one. It's really explains a lot about that, about problem, solution, and what's the result after the life after that. So most of the clients, they just don't know what their client's solution, and they make their own a hero in the story. But you should make your client the hero. So you should tell, nobody cares about your own business. You can explain about like how many years you work, how many stuff you have. But if you explain them what their problem, what solution you have for them, that's the most important part. And as far as I know, as many clients we've got, like not a lot of them know how to do that.
Yeah. I think one of the big things that I got out of that was brand stories. Brand stories are big, especially if you're a small company, a mom and pop company. Being able to tell that origin story, how you started, or whatever it may be, has a lot of value to help you grow even further. And it has a lot of good SEO value as well, too. Plus, it just gives people the warm and fuzzies. People like the warm and fuzzies, Alex. We'll just let it at that, right? That's it. Interview over. So I got to ask you, Alex, hey, this has been fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show and, giving us a look inside your career, your personal life, your travel, your experience, your expertise, everything. This has been amazing. How can people reach out to you, and how can they contact Ardor?
Thank you so much, David. I really enjoyed it. And if somebody wants to talk to me and ask any questions, they can do it on Facebook. Just type Alex Zuev or Alexander Zuev, probably my full name, and they will find it.
Oh, perfect. And we'll have a link down there to ArdorSEO as well, too, down in the description below. Alex, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a blast. I hope you enjoyed becoming Checkmate.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much.
No problem. Cheers. Bye. Wow, that was such a fun chat with our new best friend from Russia, Alex, right? First, you all know the routine. If you found this interview helpful, if it sparked those warm and fuzzies, do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. But if you really want to help us out, please share this out to your network. SharkBite Biz is the best kept secret out there in the world of small business. Help your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers, your family. Help your doctor. Yeah, your doctor. Help your doctor discover SharkBite Biz, because that's how awesome we are. And I would love to see nothing more than our friend Alex, ArdorSEO, SharkBite Biz, and heck, even me, out there trending for good reasons, though. Good reasons, though. Remember, we want to trend for good reasons, not bad reasons, okay? Help us out. Share us out. Let's keep building upon this amazing show. Now let's get back to Alex, our rock star guest. So I love talking with him, as we both have a love of travel and crazy. I always find that a lot of the guests that we get on the show, something as simple as travel is a commonality that we have. And it kind of gives us a common ground to be able to start a discussion from. And then it goes deeper than that, because with somebody like Alex, God, you may think that you work for a big company or even a large department, but imagine being a foreigner in a place like China, working for a company like Alibaba, where your department is over 10,000 employees. I mean, straight up, that is crazy. That's really where you lose individualization and really just become a number. I mean, you're just a cog in the machine at that point. That is insane having a department that is that large. And I guess, maybe with some of these bigger companies, it's more common. I couldn't imagine that. I would not like that. It would drive me nuts. And I think that's probably where Alex and me align the most. I thrive working with mom and pop shops, okay? I love working with small corporations, medium corporations. Why? I get to be me. If I close a huge deal, all 500 employees at Vision 33, they're going to know. And it's really impossible to make that type of ripple at a place like Alibaba, where, again, you're just a number and a cog in the machine. You're not that individualized contributor that can make a difference. Like, your sale could be the difference between, the company having year-over-year growth or not. I mean, you just don't have that at a place like Alibaba. And further, I think besides the personal choices of somebody like me that would make a difference at, the companies at these size, I think that another common area where Alex and myself also see eye to eye is we like having clients that are the same size, just like the type of companies we like working for, because those mom and pop small corporations, just like with his job at Ardor SEO, if he does a really good job, it's very easy for his clients to recognize that. It's easy for them to pat him and Ardor SEO on the back like, hey, you know what, dudes? Job well done. The customer can recognize that. Now let's flip that around. Let's say if Ardor SEO and Alex were still working for Alibaba, okay? Guess what? Whether it was good, whether it was bad, you know what Ardor SEO would be? They would be minimized into a little cell on this giant spreadsheet, probably an Excel sheet that's just one little data point out of like a million different data points, okay? That's how minimized you are when you start getting into those big, huge multinational companies. And for some people, they love it. They love the bureaucracy. They love the red tape. They love that they're part of a big machine. But people like Alex, people like myself, people like Ardor SEO, we don't like that. We like making contributions. Again, whether it's to our employers or to our customers, we like making those contributions that can be recognized, that are easy to point out, whether it's, again, Shark Bite Biz or my day job at Vision 33. I really love and I thrive what I do in my marketplace because I can get that recognition. I love it when I can get a pat on the back from one of my clients because they just went live, okay? Whereas that might not happen if I'm working in large enterprise space. I mean, you just don't get that recognition all the time. And people like me that do have egos and sometimes can be ego driven, that goes a long way. That's a motivator to me. And I think it's a motivator to people like Ardor, to people like Chris Reed, who's been on the show, and to Alex as well, too. You can make a big difference as that individual contributor and really be noticed within your organization or the client of your organization. And when it comes down to it, that's what drives me in the morning. I think that's what drives a lot of successful people in the morning. That's what drives a different tier of beast. What about you? And that's where I'm going to go with this question of the day. Do you want to just be another cog in the machine, or do you want your success? Which also means, the flip side of that is, yeah, your successes are highlighted, but your failures are also exposed to your employer, to your clients as well. Does that motivate you? Leave a comment down below on YouTube. I'd love to hear your answer to that question. That's a good question, I think. Do you want to be in the show? If so, shoot us an email, interviews@sharkbitebiz.com. We have some huge guests that are going to be coming on towards the end of quarter 4. I got a nice rock band I'm just going to dango out there. Classic. Everybody's going to laugh, but they're getting in tech, and they have an amazing story to tell. I can't wait till this episode airs. Also, please don't forget, join the channel, become a baby shark. It's $3 a month, okay? YouTube, just hit that little join button or head right on over deadhousecoffee.com. Use code SHARK, get 20% off your order. Get the most precious coffee, zombie-themed coffee, delivered to your doorstep in days. 20% off, code SHARK, deadhousecoffee.com. You all know this by now, but I'm David Strausser. This is Shark Bite Biz. We'll see you all next episode. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Shark Bite Biz. We hope you got some insightful info from this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to us through your favorite podcast app and visit us on the web at www.sharkbitebiz.com. How has business changed for you in the 20s? Email us at podcast@sharkbitebiz.com so you can join us and share your story.